Welcome to another 5-minute tech tip. This tech tip is going to be on InDesign and working with InDesign essentially from the beginning. This is going to be more or less a beginner's tutorial with some more advanced sort of pro tips. So we're going to start off just creating a new document, and ultimately I'm going to bring in some text or place some text that's already been created in Word. And how do we do that sort of the proper way and more efficient way using some keyboard shortcuts? So what I'm going to do is on the left hand side I'm going to click on Create New, and my dialog box pops up, essentially asking me what size I want, right? Do I want to have portrait or landscape? How many pages do I want? Do I want to have columns and things like that? Notice there's some presets. I can even save a preset here if I know it's always going to be 5 pages or whatever it is. So all I'm going to do now is very simply just say I want this to be 2 pages and I want it to be 2 columns each, just like that. And when I click on preview, kind of nice, you actually see it in the background. So if you move this out of the way, you'll be able to see, well, what does 2 columns look like? Do I want that to be that way? All right, you'll also see that you can change the margins here if you want to, so I'll be able to see that, if I move my window out of the way, what that's going to look like in terms of changing the margins and things like that. So I'm going to keep it at the default. And again, like I said, if you wanted to save this as a preset, you can click on this little guy over here. But in the interest of time, let's just get started and I'll show you how we can change some of these things. I'm going to click on Create, and then bam, there I am with my 2-page document. All right, now if you ever want to change anything, Creative Cloud has these pretty awesome features here under Properties where I can actually change a lot of my stuff here. If you're working in anything that's like maybe 3 years older than say 2020, you may not have these options, so you've got to go under Layout, Margins and Columns, you got to go to File, and then you go to the document setup to check those out. But in the latest and greatest version, you'll be able to change a lot of the things that we just did. So pretty slick. So I'm going to bring in some text, right? That's my goal right now because I work so hard in Word to do that. So how do I do that? Just like you do if you ever worked with images, it's with text. You go to File and you say Place or Command and Control D. And I have my cookbook text ready to go. Now, before I select anything here, I want to make sure that Show Import Options is chosen. Why is that? Let me go ahead and click on that. Because I want to pare down any types of formatting or styles that Word has. Essentially, it's another language. And I want to remove it because I am now in InDesign world. I want to use paragraph styles and character styles and all that good stuff. And you can check out my other videos on that. I highly suggest that you start working with paragraph styles and check out my videos on how to create and edit your paragraph styles to save time to execute and also have some consistency around that. Okay, so watch another video on that. So I'm going to remove all those styles, so we're pretty much at a clean slate. And then over here, I could include my table of contents and index and footnotes and endnotes from Word if I've created that. Please also check out my other videos on that as well. I got some on Word in addition to what we're doing here in InDesign. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And when I do that, notice my mouse kind of gets pregnant with this new little box here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply just click. And you'll notice what it does, right? It conforms to the column of how I have that, okay? Which is pretty great, right? But it didn't really do what I wanted to do because it's like, oh, well, you just stopped. And notice this little red plus sign and box down below. It's not what I wanted it to. I wanted to actually fill in all the way. So I'm going to undo Command or Control Z, and it comes back to here. So you have 2 options for doing this. I could just simply click and drag, and then watch, I'll just do this. Okay, and then I can go ahead and just grab this little, plus sign there and just start doing that all over again, right? And it can be pretty good because I can place it more manually, and then I can continue doing that over and over and over again. But I don't want to do that either. Okay, but sometimes you do. In my case, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to undo all the way back. The next option is with our keyboard shortcuts. Okay, now I'm just going to, you can do the Shift key to make it essentially to spill out for the rest of the document, but also more importantly, create new pages as we do that. Okay, so let me show you this. I'm holding down the Shift key on my keyboard, and you'll notice that as I do that, notice how the little mouse icon gets a little swirly icon there. That's telling me that it's going to do this sort of auto-filling all the way across. So watch what happens now when I click, because I'm holding on the Shift key. It automatically fills it into this column, and guess what? Whoa! The columns for these guys, and it continues on and on and on, automatically creating new pages for me. It is awesome for these kinds of things. All right, so if I held down the Alt key, I'll be able to actually do more or less the same thing as I did when I was clicking on the boxes without having to actually click on the boxes. With the Alt key, if I did that, I'd be able to notice how this is going to be the semi-automatic. I click and drag to here. I don't have to keep clicking on the box. And then I can just go ahead and click here. Let's say there's an advertisement there, right? Can't let go of it. It's a little bit trickier. I'm going to click on this, not letting go of my Alt key. Click here. I'm just kind of doing for demonstration purposes. You just can't let go of the Alt key. That's the key secret there. I let go of it a couple times, so it was a little sloppy, but that's my cautionary tale for you. Let me just undo all that and take you back. So I like to keep these short and sweet. So that is the key takeaway on A, creating new documents from scratch, saving presets, but also when we're bringing in text, we want to make sure that we have the import options box checked. And then when we bring in the text, we want to either use the Shift key, the Alt key, or just do it manually, right? So you got lots of options there, all right? So what we'll do in other videos is work with paragraph styles to make this look how we want it to look and have some consistency and efficiency all throughout. Okay, so hopefully you learned something from this short and sweet tutorial. Check out my other InDesign videos and some other ones we got there on Excel, Word, Photoshop, you name it. And please like, subscribe, comments, whatever you got to do. And we will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.